Get it. 18.
They don't know me, son.
Get it. 19.
They don't know me, son.
Yeah. 20. You got some more in you. 21. Yeah. Get it again.
Hello everyone, yes, smash a like, comment and subscribe for more daily videos with me, MrSneakyy. We're here on Call of Dragons and I'm basically covering the entire beginning war that happened, right? I've got 3 amazing pushes to go through, right? 2 of them from BD, 1 from NASA. So you can see both sides have actually been able to be competitive at some point in this beginning bout. And from there, we're going to showcase what has happened from those beginning fights all the way, right, to the current stage where I've woken up this morning, obviously seen where the map has progressed. So you should get all of that information, right? So as you can see from the background in, video gameplay, BD was able to conquer their pass first, right? They ran a double rally version of taking their pass, and then we basically just did a rally and swarm. And from here, BD have had, honestly, a very, very long track to get to us, right? Because they are on the other side of the map, and as you're going to be able to see, they need to pass through quite a lot, including 1, but 2 spires. And that is true, right? They've got to go through 2 spires in order to get to us, because we're going to be playing a lot more defensive, as you're going to see in the gameplay, right? But BD have had to obviously track all the way around, and this is kind of what I wanted to showcase, right? I wanted to showcase here, look, BD in all rights have longer refresh timers than the guys in NASA. So this gives you guys a little bit of context of what is gonna go down, right? So here's all the BD boys, and I'm just admitting, BD showed up definitely with super high activity for this fight. So what we're going to do is go into the next bit of gameplay, which actually shows the first fight kicking off. Basically, BD are at the second spire, and this is basically showcasing 2 things, right? Them moving into position to attack, obviously, the NASA front line, and obviously, look how good coordination this is, right? And I need to give a big W to the BD family, right? Because this is something that you don't see a lot of alliances doing, where they murder ball up and basically go into a fight. And the problem is, what you're going to notice, the gameplay is paused, and that isn't because of the actual, what's going on. And you'll notice my mouse is moving, and for the first time in Call of Dragons history, for 500+ days on the PC client, I suffered my first crash. That is right. So I have logged back into the game, refreshed it, and got back into the fight. And as you can see, BD absolutely crushing it right now. They have easily the more field presence. They've even got some great infantry to run into our main murder ball to obviously allow the DPS to push through any choke point and then focus down the ranged targets. And you can see how successful this was, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I was absolutely shocked to see how fast and how coordinated BD were actually performing here. And you can imagine all of this, family, right? Just like we was in the NASA guys, all in Discord, right? You can imagine for this type of activity, for this type of coordination, you need to be on Discord voice, which is very, very important to obviously break down and cut down your opponents. And the thing is, it doesn't just stop here, right? This is the first big push from BD. You can see all of our deads coming back from that battle, going to our, obviously, pass to refresh. But BD don't stop there, right? BD want to go for blood and try to buy as much time as they can, because any push they do right here is honestly very beneficial for them, right? They're going to be able to push towards our flags, hopefully disrupt the flags, and then go into, obviously, stopping us building, which gives them that build advantage. So let's go into the very next gameplay where we see the second major push of these guys. And welcome to the next kind of push, following up straight from that last gameplay, right? So BD was successful in that first push, and now they're going to be pushing towards our flag, as I was obviously disclosing to you guys before this footage pops up, right? And you can see here, this is very scary. Look how many members are on the field, right? And this is basically, if you were wondering what it looks like without simple mode. If you put simple mode on right now, I will tell you guys, you will not see hardly any of these marches, which is very detrimental if you're trying to obviously not die, right? Because you don't want to get picked apart. And what you can see here, I was just using my infantry, right, just to buy as much time for my alliance, right? And from here, I've been able to summon my next 3 marchers, pull them in, ready for the next blitz. But look at BDO, they are absolutely working together here, working as one, using different artifacts as well as their mage and archer composition that they've only got really left here to absolutely close down. And you can see them doing this as a very successful rate, right? They was able to push us off our flag, they're now pushing us down towards our pass, which is definitely a big 1-0, I will admit, to BD, and a big W, big win for those guys. This is the very first push that happened, and the full entirety now complete, right? And as you can imagine, and as anyone would imagine, right, us in NASA got our refresh, and then we pushed back out, right? And by pushing back out, we was able to clean up all of these troops. But obviously I haven't captured that just because everyone would assume cleanup duty. So now we're going into the second wave, and just like before with BD, they obviously have to do that march time. So I'm just going to showcase quick time lapse of them obviously moving through the map, right? They need to get through that spire. They need to walk all the way up through one bridge to another choke point, and then finally to this area where, as you can imagine, they're in spire range 2. So they have to again work together with really good voice comms, and I just wanted to show it again because honestly, this time, if you are a person that loves movement and loves just seeing coordinated movement from one alliance, this is one part that I had to capture and showcase off, because this honestly was beautiful. I'm gonna say this was beautiful to watch this whole, you know, next section of movement, because you're gonna see these guys working together, splitting up correctly, moving down towards the map, and just look how good this looks, boys. And the scary thing is, look how many troops there is, right? Those lines are insanely long of how many troops are coming, and that's 2 separate lines. So just imagine when all of these boys come together, right? So now they're going to be moving, as I said, to the same choke point. And here we go. We're at the choke point again with BD. And at first, this little area does just kind of start off with a little bit of poke fighting, right? With these Celestial Fighters and BD. But without any, obviously, 0 to 100, let's just say that. 0 to 100, this fight just clicks, right? And you have to be paying attention, because if you're not paying attention to these fights, you will get absolutely slaughtered. And if you're looking for any tips and tricks during this bit of fighting, you'll notice I am playing in this game mode, right? If you want to say zoomed in so you can see all the controls for obviously better video purposes. However, you're going to notice at a lot of times and at certain times, I'm going to zoom out. Because fighting in this game, you know, zoomed in is actually really hard. Look, you can see myself, my marchers, they're really pulling so close to the BD murder ball, which is obviously for a T4 player, the worst thing I could be doing right now. So this is why I go into this zoomed out mode, because now I can understand where my troops are, I can see a lot better, and more importantly, there's no real lag that's going on, right? I can see everything as, you know, true as it can be with as much information I realistically need, which is like the march, the health bar, and that's it. That's all I need to know if I'm targeting a Husk or if I'm targeting a Lilia, right? And that's a very important thing. And this is where BD push, and this is the second big W for them. Watch how coordinated this push is. All the infantry now zooming in to the NASA murder ball here and basically causing just chaos within there. Because the thing is with infantry, right now, as you're watching, we are basically only server that doesn't have intercept mode on, which means if you look, any infantry could in theory just run through, as you can see right above me here, any of these marches, and they're able to get to their targets no matter what. And that is a very scary thing with T5 players, because if a T5 Gresh Schoolgirl runs into that murder ball and Spirit Bone talks, you know they're going to be able to tank that 5 marches and do some insane area of effect damage passively, right, to the murder ball, which is obviously causing the enemy or whoever you're fighting's murder ball to get weaker over time without them really realizing, right? So here we go, BDO now coming through that choke, and you can see them very spread out, and even myself, like, I feel like I'm in a good position here, not really getting targeted, and then out of nowhere, right, I'm just getting 11x, 13x, and you see how quick my marches disappear, right? And that is the life of a T4 player. Let's be real here, right? But look at this, guys. Look how coordinated BD are being here. And I have to obviously give them as much credit as they do. Because on my channel, as you guys know, I try to be as neutral and as impartial as I can be with gameplay and give credit where credit is due. And in these first two murder pushes from the BD family, they were absolutely slaughtering us. I will say that confidently. I felt like this was just nasty. And you can see I was getting small amount of merit, so I was only getting between 13 to 15k, right? So let's go into the next actual footage, right? So the next footage is very interesting to see what actually occurs from this push. And welcome. So this is basically, as you can imagine, from the last fight, BD was successful in pushing through, obviously getting to our flag again and delaying their flag, our flag, to allow them that build advantage to get to their positions quicker, right? Very important. Now, this is the third wave of attacks. It's the third fight that happens. And as you can see, again, this is a different type of fight, and I can see and understand the BD mentality right here, right? Because they can actually push through this choke point right here, as you guys have seen in the past two areas. But you're probably wondering, why aren't these guys pushing? Why are they not pushing at all? And it's all because of this flag. This flag needs to be completed, and once it's completed on time, you can see NASA was able to coordinate a very good attack here, and this is probably the best attack that I was able to be a part of, because obviously after this I went to bed, guys. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning and I needed to sleep to make this video for you guys, right? And here was a very good attack. You can see right in the middle a Goresh Skogel rally, and obviously this isn't going to be too much of an issue, that people should not target it, right? However, this isn't the point of this rally. This rally is just to get into the middle of that murder ball, as you're going to see, and break. And by breaking, you just delivered a ton of infantry units into the middle, as you can see now, of that murder ball. All of those infantry got instantly targeted with those markers, so you know they're in there. And boom, Spiritborn Talks, all getting taunted, and now this is go time. NASA's going for a push, and this push, as you can imagine, compared to any of the other pushes for the NASA camp, we had more troops here. This was the first time out of both fights, right? We actually had more activity on. We had more players on for once over the BD guys in the last two fights that clearly had the open field advantage, right? And it's good to see that. It's good to see an alliance with high activity taking advantage of activity, because that's what you want, right, in Call of Dragons War gameplay. But this is going to be a different case right now. You can see us working very well together, and we're in the choke. We are in the choke, so in theory, we could be taking insane amounts of area of effect damage. However, you will notice this murder ball by NASA, including me, what are in here, we are targeting as fast as we can, and even to the point where now I'm just right-clicking marches, because I normally would drag to get a lot of, obviously, information that I need, but because of how many archers you can see are in this murder ball, any sort of targeting is going to be killed within a couple of seconds. And you can see this. Anytime I'm dragging, look at this. Everyone's just dying. And I'm like, do you know what? We need to stop dragging. Let's just start going back into the clicks very soon. Because you can see, look, this is just not... It's too fast. Everyone's dying too fast. And this was the best, like I said, the best push from NASA. And I need to give, again, as you can imagine, big W to my officers in the NASA camp that obviously were coordinating all of this attack on their VC, giving us all the information we needed in the little chat that I'm obviously hiding here so we can rush and push through. And it is a great fight, right? And this just showcases, look, BD obviously winning 2 fights back to back with some great pushes, allowing them, right, to get the ability to build their flags, right? They want to build flags quicker than us so they can get to the better defending points than we can, right? But this is the third fight, and this is the third wave, and you can see for the third time, this time, BD loses, right? BD are not going to win this fight. You can see them clearly just getting absolutely melted from target after target after target from our players. And I'm going super aggressive here. I'm just going bang. I'm just targeting anyone I can see because I know these players are going to die. And this was, as you can see, the best push and the best defense so far that I was able to record and obviously be part of with the NASA camp. So if you guys have enjoyed these highlights of the fight, so you've been able to see 3 different instances of fighting from BD, pushing twice, being successful to push us all the way back to our pass twice, and then on the 3rd push, us being able successfully to defend and obviously repel against the BD forces, right? So that is basically all of the fighting that's been occurring so far. And if we go into the main game now, what you're going to be able to notice is a lot has changed, right? And a lot has developed since there, because if we go into the map, all the building was down in this early section, as you can imagine, for the BD guys down in this early section. But now you're going to be able to see just the sheer troops that they had to walk, right? You got to remember, everyone in BD will have to be in behind the pass, especially if you're a lower player and you need to refresh. So these guys are walking all the way around here, up this bridge, cross the 2nd bridge, through 1 spire, basically losing a march or 2 marches potentially who gets targeted, and then coming all the way up and around to where we are right now. So this would be the frost bridge you guys have seen in that footage, and then they would be pushing to this spire, and that would be the 2nd spire that these guys would be pushing through and going into this very, very nasty choke here, right? This was the choke you guys have been seeing in those past footage, and then from here, BD being able to push all the way down, as you can imagine, and take us to our pass before obviously we get a full refresh, wipe them, and we go again on round 2, right? So you can see this is the map development now, and we've been building and we're building our fortress as of this video recording, right? Obviously trying to get this into a nice secure location to help push through, and you can see we are still building. So this is going to be a very fun event, and if you want me to cover more PvP highlights in the way I've done it, just smash the like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me below if you've enjoyed it and how you've enjoyed basically this style of videos so I can know to do it more, obviously, in the future. So with all of that said, guys, stay safe, stay sneaky, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.